Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. After I make a large project, I have scraps left over. And I made this mini album, which is on my channel. It's an 8.5 by 6.5 mini album, and the walkthrough and the full tutorial is on Project 39 Mini Albums. So, this is what's left of all of the paper. I have a couple of larger pieces over here, like this size. I keep in a rack next to me so I can look at them at a glance. So lots of cute paper, and I'm going to make cards out of it. So I'm going to show you my quick and easy process for making cards out of scraps. The first thing I generally do is organize my scraps into like small, medium, and large pieces. And I will do that off camera. Right now I'll just move them to the side. I also, if I have any cut-aparts, such as here, I will cut them apart if I'm pretty sure I'm going to use them. I mean, I sort of like that paper. And I have this ephemera pack. So this collection is from Echo Park. It is a birthday wish girl collection. There, of course, is the birthday wish boy. And I picked up the ephemera because that was all cute sentiments. And I knew I wanted to make cards. I mean, that's not a sentiment, but that's a nice focal point. So I got that. Now, of course, you can use the cut-aparts that come in the collection. Or you could stamp sentiments. In this case, I am not going to stamp sentiments because I've got all these. And even some of the stickers that come with the collection are sentiments. So I have enough sentiments. I'm just going to use up the rest of this paper down to teeny tiny scraps. My goal is to use up collections once I've cut into them. I like to use everything and only throw out the very last of them. So I generally organize my scraps into something like this. And again, I'll do that off camera. The other thing I do preparing for this job is I make card bases. Now, if I'm giving away the cards, like in this case, these are probably going to go to be donated. If I'm giving them away, I don't mind using 8.5 by 11 cardstock and cutting them down and making 4 1/4 by 5-inch size cards. If I'm making cards to give away to people, or not to give away, to send out, I'm going to make 5 by 7s. So the size is up to you, but the process is going to be the same. So the first thing I'm going to do after I organize my scraps and cut up a whole bunch of card bases, I mean, I guess I'd have 20 card bases just ready to go, is I cut up all of my larger pieces to fit on the card, and it would be about 1/8 of an inch smaller than the 4 1/4 by 5.5. So let's start with this and see what I have. All right, those are again some sentiments. Do I want to use this side? I mean, these would make some nice cards to put on the front. I'm going to save those till the end. I'm going to just take this and cut this down to, I'm going to cut it down to a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch. I'm cutting it down to 4 1/16 by 5 5/16. So I'll be able to use this either this way or this way. As much as I like this, I probably will use that side. So I'm going to cut down as many of these as I can, just so I get some large card fronts. have a bunch of papers that I can put on my card base. So that's going to make a good amount of cards. It looks to be maybe about 20, 22. So I'm going to just adhere them onto the card bases. Apparently I've got to make more. And the way I'm going to do that is just using my ATG. I don't want to use a permanent adhesive because I may end up wrapping something around it. So I just will stick it on just like this, just to get started. It needs to go on straighter, and that's okay. It's just a place to. So now the next thing I'm going to do is match up my scraps of plain white cardstock, or in this case some colored plain cardstock, with my other paper scraps. So this one is similar, but I'll need to cut down the white so it fits. So I put them both together, and I just eyeball it because we're doing it quick here. I mean, you could measure it if you are more comfortable with that. And mine will come out, for the most part, pretty close. I just try to make sure that it's all straight. Okay, so out of that, I got this. So there's about a 1/16 of an inch border around it. This one will do about the same. And then I need to cut down the pink here. I know you can't see perfectly clear because the arm is in the way, but basically I'm just trying to make a border around these pieces. Now you don't have to. Some people don't mind their cards and save these little pieces because you might use them later. Some people don't mind having their cards without a border, but I do like to have a border around the different mats. I feel like it makes it stand out, but it does make it get chunky, and you have to watch that. You don't want your cards too thick that they're going to be expensive to mail. Alright, so here we go with that. And the reason I'm doing that, and I'm going to again just tack these together real quick so I can show you what the next step will be, so you have a reason why I'm doing this. That's all garbage, not garbage, but put away till later. So I start with the larger chunks and try to match up with my scraps, and then I get consecutively smaller with my scraps and my my plain cardstock scraps. So let's see what we could do here. I'm gonna grab, we'll start with this one. And then I have the sentiment, which actually is an embellishment as well. And I like that with this card. It's got that same dark teal, and I can go like that on here, because it says blow out your candles on your special day, and we've got the candles in the background. And then that to me makes a nice card. So I just would glue all that together, and then the next step after this is to put some kind of embellishments like I don't know, glitter glue or something like that. Not glitter glue, something. This one I can put like this, add a second embellishment coming off of here, and then I've got this sentiment, and that would be cute there because we've got the teal there, we've got the pink, and this background is good. And so that is my method. Now I'm going to go through this in fast motion, and I'm going to put all these together. I'll put some music to the video, and you can see exactly what it is I'm going to do with these card bases and all of my scraps. So Let's go. I think I said I was going to put this to music, but you guys aren't that lucky. So I'm just showing you again some of my process, and I want to talk through a little bit of it. This one I just decided to make a shaker card because in the ephemera there was a frame, and inside the frame was a piece of paper to me that's a ready-made shaker, and I just put in a few sequins. But besides making the shaker card, the other thing I end up doing is just making squares, well, mostly rectangles, out of my scraps. And I will layer them in different conglomerations. I don't know. Sometimes I'll have a long, skinny one, and then I'll have a short, fat square. I usually have at least two different rectangles that I put on there and then add the sentiment. A lot of times I'll take the sentiment and use that as my color inspiration and try to match the pieces that go underneath it for just to make sure it all matches. So in this case, I've got several different colors, and I'm trying to figure out what the best way of putting this is. And I cut out a couple, and then I end up just putting two different rectangles and then the sentiment on top of it. And later on I'll show you all of the different cards so you can see what I've made. So it's just a matter of layering everything up. Most of the time I do put a second layer underneath my squares and rectangles, but not all the time. If it's a big piece, sometimes I don't. Now here what I'm doing is adding different, a little bit of bling. Here's just a little sequin. In this case, I'm taking just some like Nuvo drops and just putting a couple of 3 dots on the corner. Sometimes I'll take enamel dots if I have matching enamel dots. Here I'm putting some stickers in the inside. If I have stickers or if I have something that sort of matches with what I'm saying, I will use this. This is a glitter, not enamel dots, glitter Nuvo drops that I was just sort of putting on the cake icing. And here, see, I'm just adding it onto the icing. It just adds a little touch of bling to it. I decided to put candles here. I don't like how they were after I look at it. I'm putting the card, the front onto the base. And now I'm adding just a bit of bling to those candle lights and a couple of 3 drops in the corner. So I need something on here and I'm not sure what I want to put. I'm looking, thinking about it, and I end up just adding some crystal drops to, there's confetti on there. And this one I just add the little drops to the candle lights. So this yay card was really plain to me, and I had a present. I added it to it. I wasn't nuts about it, but it'll do. I think I changed something up later on, or oh yeah, I had some stars that I had in my stash. And they work. That adds something to it. This one I had a nice big cake sticker, so I put that on. Here's my shaker card. This one I just decorate one of the balloons, and then there's banners on the top, and I put the crystal drops on there. And then all over is confetti, so I add some sparkle to the confetti. This guy's pretty cute, and I just took a large enamel dot and put on his hat. Here I'm putting 3 dots on the corner and 1 on the hat. These I was trying to put enamel dots for the headlights, and I didn't like the yellow enamel dots, so I take my crystal drops and use that. Here I'm decorating the cakes. This is about my extent of cake decorating experience. This one again, don't know what to do. I have a cake sticker I wanted to use. I put it on the inside and just decorate the cake. I was going crazy with these crystal drops. Trying to decide if I wanted to use these stars because they really don't match, and I think I said, what the heck. They add a nice bit of bling to it. And then I realized that card front is not attached to the card base, so I glue it down. Sticker. and just a little a bling to the top of the hat that I put on there. Then I move it because I didn't like it, and add some sort of enamel dots in a red color. Not enamel dots. I forget what brand it is, but dots, and I put some bling on it. And these were just sequins that I just added onto the corner. Sort of like that tone on tone. Looked at this one and wasn't sure what I was going to do once I glued the front on it. I just filled in that frosting on that cupcake with my glittery stuff, and that had to dry. Okay, I'm at the end of it and I have some scraps left. There's a couple that I put aside that I'm going to make another card or two with, but I have a punch in my stash that makes banners, and I just am taking my scraps and making a whole bunch of banners. And some are the full size of that punch, some I put on the edge of the page so it doesn't come out the full size, so that way I have different heights of the banners. And then after I'm done making the banners, then I end up putting it on the cards. I try to put 3 on each card, and it just adds something on the inside of the card if I don't have a sentiment. And that is pretty much my process. And here are all the 22 birthday cards I made using scraps from Echo Park's A Birthday Wish collection with the girl version. So quick and easy, just have fun matching colors. I mean, it's pretty easy because everything is coordinated with the collection. And here are close-ups of some of the cards. And that is what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fabulous day.